Welcome back to the Vegans Who Lift podcast. I am your host, joined by John Thomas, the bodybuilding vegan. And today we are joined with a very special guest, Natalie Matthews. Welcome to the show, Natalie.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Yes, we are super excited to have you on. Natalie is an IFBB Bikini Pro. She is now an online coach as of this year. She has an awesome ebook, so it's going to be awesome to talk about lifting, veganism, all things related to that. Super excited. We couldn't have anybody better on.
Oh, thank you.
I agree.
I appreciate it.
This whole essence right here is kind of what I had envisioned for the podcast, being able to put people like yourself on this platform and get it out there, because a lot of the general population has no clue what competitors go through. And then a lot of people just don't know what it's like to be vegan. So to have both of those at the same time, it's an interesting mix.
Yes, we're definitely unicorns.
Yes.
Unicorn.
So,
Yeah.
do you want to? Should we go ahead and start by getting into our wins for the week? That's typically how we start off, and then we'll go into the game.
Yeah, I'm like, what's the script? And then I'm like, oh yeah, we do the same thing every week. I should know this. Yeah, we'll do the wins.
All right, so John, let's hear your win first. What's your win for the week?
My win for the week, it's like an ongoing win. It's not just one, but it's one really long big one. I know I'll normally have like two or three, but I'll stick to one. I'm running, and by the time y'all hear this, it's probably gonna be over, but the post might still be live, so you can still donate. I'm working with Karma Farm Sanctuary, my best friend Alex, aka a Box. We're gonna have to get him on here next season. He runs an animal sanctuary with his wife, and so we decided after this event on Saturday got canceled. Sean and I both had the clairvoyance that like the universe is gonna put something out there. Well, Alex was the one that answered the phone, and I said, "Look, I want to raise you money. What would it go towards?" He's like, "Well, we just rescued this pig, Henry." And Henry needs some surgery. He needs a pasture to be fenced in, and he needs a house built. It's going to be like $4 or $5 grand. I said, done. I've been looking for something to do. I want to get this head tattoo. I was going to do the head tattoo either way. So I was like, let's tie it into this. Let me offer to live stream the tattoo if we can get enough donations. And so this has been like a journey for me. One, it was a little bit stressful. Like it took me like 500 takes to get the video right, because I really wanted to perform well. And so far, I can actually check right now live. We're killing it. We're at $2,043 raised, and we want to get to 5,000 by tomorrow. But one of Alex's friends offered to do a $2,500 donation match. So we're like under $500 away. It's going to happen either way. I told Alex, I said, you're getting the money either way, even if I got to fund it. Like I'm going to make sure this happens. And it's interesting how this whole week has played out. We've had 51 people donate, and that has touched my heart. I know some of these people are not that well off financially, and they're like, wait, let me get my paycheck on Friday. I'm going to donate that morning or Thursday morning. And then they do. And a lot of them aren't vegan, but they're good people. And I think this might be a stepping stone. Hey, I love this dog so much, and this pig reminds me of a dog. Let me help save this pig. Maybe I won't eat one next time. For me, having a little bit of faith, I'm not a religious person. I'm a little bit more spiritual. I was starting to freak out on the way to the gym on Monday. I was like, we've gotten like I put in 500 and we're at like $800. Like, oh Lord, we're a long way from $5 grand. And I got the text from Alex. We got that match right as I was having a little bit of doubt. That came through, and it was like, okay, no more doubts. Just throw that out. Just go in and let it happen. It's going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. So that's been my ongoing win of this week, being able to help out a really good friend, and try to make my life meaningful before I'm gone. So for me, I've already won the week. Gonna get the head tattoo tomorrow. It's the last time you'll see the side of my head with just normal skin.
That is crazy.
Yeah, awesome. A little bit.
Yay for Henry the pig, though. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm so glad that we're able to help him out and help Alex out too financially. So yeah, that's a great win. Very heartwarming win.
Thank you, Brooke, for donating. You were early in on there. And I mean, part of the reason somebody might be saying, and I said this too, sorry, this continues into the win. Why are we putting so much money into one pig? Like, is this really worth it? There's a lot of animals out there that need help. And I talked to Alex yesterday, and it's not just one pig. It's hope, it's belief, it's value. We're placing value on this pig's life. And if we can place value on one life, we can place value on all lives. And so for me, it's taken on a deeper meaning. I'm not a big animal lover. I'm not, like, I don't roll around with pigs or dogs, but now my heart has been touched, and watching this little guy like run around in his pen, like it did kind of in my heart a little bit. So yeah,
we got to get you on the animal loving side. We're going to get you rolling around.
I can't believe that. What?
I know, I couldn't believe it either, but he's like not like a big dog person or cat person or just animal person in general. So
oh my
I
gosh.
like fish. I really like fish, but I feel like it might be an ethical violation though to like capture them and put them in a tank. So I haven't gotten any since high school. I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it. Like, is there a way I could save some fish? But I feel bad about just buying them from either a breeder or from the ocean and throwing them in my tank. So I don't have a tank anymore. But yeah.
Well, Natalie, what would your win be from the week?
Mine was I got my first muscle up, and that was pretty cool. It was ugly. It was so ugly. It was so ugly, but I'm really proud because I've been trying for that for years now, but not consistently because obviously I was doing prep, and that took a backseat. Like, skill work is not something that you do in prep. If anything, that could get me injured. So I was like, well, next time I'm in off season, I'm gonna really give it my all. So yeah, I finally got it. So I was so excited.
Congrats. Yeah, I saw your stories and I saw that you finally achieved one, and like all of your trials and errors of finally achieving one. And I was just thinking, wow, yeah, I can imagine how much that would hurt if you hit the wrong part of the bar, right? Like
oh yeah. I kept hitting my chest over and over. I kept like getting like bruises and like scraped up hands, and I was like, oh my gosh, one day. And I just kept like uploading all the fails, and I'm like, one day it won't be a fail, guys. So but that's usually my journey, a lot of fails before I get a win. So
that's so cool. Like, I'll be honest, I'm pretty strong, but I'm not muscle up strong. Like, I've never done one in my life. My younger brother's a gymnast and he can do them, but hats off to you. That is awesome. That is very cool.
Thank you. I bet you both could get one, honestly, because you guys have the strength. It's really technique, and once like it clicks, which is super ironic, but yeah, it was pretty fun, you know.
Yeah, and I saw you using bands too, so like you like kind of had a strategy to get your first muscle up. So I feel like I would have to do something like that, otherwise I would end up injuring myself, busting my ass. But I also love that you're so transparent and that you do show like the fails and the process to get there, because a lot of people don't show that. They're like, okay, well, I'm going to work towards it, and then once I finally get one, I'm going to post it.
No, I've always, like, I mean, that's been me since I started my social media journey. I've always shared the process. So like, why stop now? Even though it's not the same goal that I used to have, I just keep doing it because that's just really been me. But yeah, it was really fun to like have a different goal than to get on stage, I guess, and that gave me those same butterflies. So that's the thing, like with the off season, you just have to get creative with like getting those wins in different ways so you can continue to work towards your goal, your ultimate goal, basically.
I love it. Yeah. So I guess my win, I'll keep it kind of short, but I just have been feeling so fulfilled this week with my life. Like, I have so many good clients right now that are just so appreciative of what I'm doing. And like, I get messages all week of like, you're such a great coach, and I'm so glad I have you. I'm so grateful for you. And then not only that, but our coaching academy that we just launched, me and John, that has been so fulfilling too. And I just feel like we're actually helping people, you know, create a stream of income that gives them freedom, gives them purpose. They can actually be passionate about it. And it's awesome that we're helping so many people. And big picture, helping more animals, helping the planet even more. So I don't know, for a long time, I've kind of felt like something was missing. I've taken a really long off season too. And I've just kind of felt like a little bit lost, or like something was missing. I needed something. And this is like the first week that I've just felt like I'm good. Like this is so fulfilling. Like I could care less what happens. Like I love what I'm doing, and I'm just like happy with where I'm at. So I would say that's my win for the week.
That's so awesome. And isn't that good when you finally get to that place in the off season? Because you're always like chasing for like, okay, what is like gonna make me feel what I felt on stage, or like accomplishing that goal or conquering prep, right? So that's so cool. I'm so happy for you.
Thanks. Yeah, totally agree.
I'm proud of you, dude. You've come so far. I saw your story shouting out your clients, and I could just, it was like a text story, like a black background and just the words, and I was like, man, I know she's feeling good right now. She was shouting out how awesome her clients are, and you've been killing it with the academy. Like you keep up with it better than I do. We have like a group chat, and Brooke's always in there dropping info and helping these people out. And yeah, dude, I believe it. You're putting out so much value. I couldn't imagine that you don't feel fulfilled right now.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks. Yeah, it's just different. It's like I don't have any huge goal that I'm working towards, and I've always needed that, but I don't even need that. I just am like really happy with where I'm at. So, yeah, thanks guys. Are we ready to get in our game, and then we'll get into the actual pod?
Famous shaker cup questions.
Shaker cup. We were gonna do a jar, but we didn't have a jar. Okay, here we go. What is your biggest pet peeve? Whoever wants to go first. I think about mine.
Depends. There's so many different ways that we could take this. Right?
I know. It's so many different contexts.
Can we do two? One in the gym and one outside of the gym.
You're allowed to do two. I'll give you permission.
All right. At home, when I go to get on the microwave and somebody left 8 seconds on there because they couldn't wait for their thing to come out, and then they don't clear it, I'm like, what the hell? That's my pet peeve. It's not a big deal, but for me, I'm like, really? I don't know.
It's the little things.
Yeah.
It's the little things. And then I'll do the other one real quick. At the gym, if there's weights in my hands or 2 earbuds in my ears or both, that is not the time to talk to me or fist bump me. I've had people try and fist bump me while I'm curling weight, but I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, what do you want from me? I'm literally working out here. And I don't try to be a jerk in the gym. Like I'll talk to you in between my sets, but like just because you're leaving and you're in a rush doesn't mean I'm going to stop my set and put the weight down. So yeah. And this even happens at MI40. Like I love people, but sometimes people just don't think. I don't know. I'd rather be the guy that like doesn't talk to you than the guy that stops you mid set. But
yeah, those are good ones. Good ones. What about you, Natalie?
For the gym is definitely not putting your weights back where they go. I go to gyms that a lot of strong people are in there, and I am spending 10 minutes unloading a bar that did not belong to me. So that's my warm up. So that's awesome. But so I think that would be the thing, or not cleaning up after yourself. But at home, I don't know. I feel like maybe like my husband does this a lot and it drives me crazy is when he opens like any tub of like supplements and like the powder goes everywhere. And then he just leaves the powder in the table. And I'm like, really?
Oh my gosh.
Guilty.
Guilty as well. Maybe it's a guy thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Creatine, protein everywhere. Yeah.
I see a little trail and I'm like, oh, he's been here and here.
Yeah.
Pre-workout, he must be at the gym.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would say for me at the gym, a big pet peeve is when people like use like the squat rack for like bicep curls or something like that, and the gym is packed. And I'm like, you literally could do that with anything else in here and it would be mildly okay. Like you go get a dumbbell. Like you could literally just stand in a corner with dumbbells and do bicep curls, but you chose the squat rack. That just gets me, you know? And so I can't with that one. Outside of the gym, kind of gross, but when you can hear people eating, ugh, you know what I mean?
I'm probably guilty of that one.
We can't invite you over, bro.
Mostly like this, like a really gross like smacking. Like it reminds me of like my dog licking itself, and I just can't. It's like it's really gross.
Well, please call me out anytime we eat together because I know I need to be called out for that.
I've been on Zooms with you while you're eating, and I definitely can't hear you, so you're not that bad.
Okay, I'll
You're
take
not
whatever I
that
can
bad.
get there. About putting up the weights. Actually, this is something that happened to me like 10 years ago. And it stuck with me. I was training with this guy who was pretty big, and we were leaving the room, and there were like weights on the floor, and he's like, I'll catch you at the next exercise. I'm gonna clean this up. I was like, yeah, but you didn't leave it there. He's like, but you realize if we leave the room right now, we're gonna be the last people walking out of here. Whoever comes in next is gonna think, oh, it's these asshole bodybuilders that left all these weights laying around. And I was like, I never thought of it like that. So he cleaned up somebody else's mess, and I was like, dang, be the change you want to see in the world. And so ever since then, like I do that. I'm like, I don't want to be thought of as that guy. So good
That's
pet peeve
nice.
and good learning lesson there. Like, yeah.
Yep.
I love it. All right. Well, let's get into Natalie's story a little bit. The reason we're here today. So Natalie, if you want to give a little bit of background on yourself, just for people who might be listening and they may not know who you are, that would be awesome.
So my journey started a long time ago, but basically I went vegan 11 years ago. Through that transition, a lot happened. And I went from competitive surfing to bodybuilding to then professional bodybuilding. Through that transition, I also did a little bit of like culinary work at school and was able to create what everybody sees now as Fit Vegan Chef. And I document my whole entire journey for the past 7-8 years, I think, on YouTube. So yeah, I bring people along everything. So, and I've always said, like, I document everything in hopes to inspire others to, adopt a more compassionate lifestyle. So whether that is going vegan, or maybe I just inspire you to, just do one vegan meal a day or try one of my dishes and share with your family, like that to me has that ripple effect. So that's always been my why and forefront. And I always try to do it in a very kind and compassionate way. So that's a little bit about me in a nutshell.
Love it. Yeah, I really love your approach to advocating as a vegan because it's very subtle and it's very positive. Like, I don't think I've ever seen any sort of like negative post from you ever. And I've been following you a while. You're just always so positive, so uplifting, and you really just reach people in a really also relatable way where it's like you're giving these awesome recipes, like you're showing how amazing your physique is, like what can be done in bodybuilding. So I love your approach to advocating because it's just very relatable. And I feel like people who are like kind of in that gray area between vegan and like omnivores, like I feel like you could really, really resonate with those people.
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah, of course. And then, so we wanted to talk a little bit about your culinary experience because that's something I think that really sets you apart from a lot of other creators on Instagram and YouTube, is that you actually have that education, you actually have that experience. So you said you were, educating yourself as you were transitioning. Were you vegan when you were going to school for the culinary arts?
Yes, I was. So I think I'm really bad with timelines. It's been so long. I think I was vegan for about 3, maybe 2 years. Because I went vegan. It was a long transition for me. It was like around a whole year period. So from 2012 to 2013, that was kind of like my whole transition to going vegan. And So I think I went to culinary school in 2016. And so, yeah, I already had a couple of years, but that's when the real big raw movement was everywhere. And that's the only way I knew how to do vegan back then, because it was the only thing that was on the socials. Like, I was trying to look for everything and everybody was like raw or die, So I went into that whole thing, and I've always wanted to educate myself and know how to do better. Around that time, I was also a cake decorator for Whole Foods. So I found this huge passion to like be in the kitchen. And I was like, okay, I can't be, making desserts all day. I have to do something else and learn how to like actually eat to meet my fitness goals, which around that time is when I got into bodybuilding. So my husband's in the military. So we had just moved to Jacksonville, Florida. That was like my first time living away from Puerto Rico. Like, I was all by myself and I had nobody. He literally got to Jacksonville, Florida, and had to leave for deployment. And I'm like, what am I going to do with my life now? So I went to the culinary school and I did like a very immersive program. It was all raw food, which I was like, okay, so I have to figure out now how to like prepare food that's raw to make it taste amazing. So a thing that they taught us there, which was really cool, that applies to all cooked foods now that I do, is that they really aim for like that umami feel when you're eating the prepared raw food. So you have to like hit that component of bitterness, the pungent, the salty, the sweet, all of those things to create an amazing dish. So once I figured that out, and I was like, okay, so around that time, I started noticing like, okay, if I eat more protein, I'm going to get the results that I want. So I was like, okay, I could take everything that I learned in the culinary world of the raw food wall and elevate my cooking. And that's kind of what I did. So yeah, I still incorporate a heavily raw diet sometimes, but mostly it's whole foods. And yeah, I have a lot of fun with it. I just want to share recipes that normally people wouldn't think of when eating high protein vegan, because that's kind of where I like shifted to from the raw food world, was to have that balance and like educate people like, hey, you can meet your protein targets, not just eating tofu, like there's so many other ways of doing it and you can have a lot of fun with it. So I try my best to do them like very simple, but make them look pretty so it makes the audience want to try them.
Yeah, I love that. So what would you say was one of your favorite things that you learned in that whole raw vegan culinary experience?
Oh, my favorite class was definitely the food styling video. So they taught us like how to prepare food in a really pretty way and like photograph it. And I'm still learning to this day. Like, I got a lot from it, and it actually taught like all the pictures in the cookbook, with the exception of like 3. I took all of the rest, all the pictures for, because I'm really big into like your recipe has to have a picture or else I'm not going to waste my time like even making it. So I knew that when I did the cookbook, I wanted to have pictures. So that was my favorite class. And also like I only had, I think it was 2.5 months, and we only had 2 days off. Like, I didn't even get a chance to like enjoy the place. And we would wake up like super early. I would wake up like at 4:30 just to get a little workout in and then go to class until nighttime. We would be all day cooking, but it was so fun, so immersive. I made amazing friends. It was just a really cool experience.
Wow, that's dedication.
Yeah.
But it was I'm having like, I'm realizing like I have a coach for bodybuilding, I have a coach for finances, I have a coach for social media. Maybe I should go get a coach for cooking so I can learn how to cook better. Cause like I've just always copied what I've seen off Instagram for bodybuilding or for anything else. And then like getting a coach was huge for that. So now I'm like, maybe I should go to chef school, or
me
too.
It would be so fun. I even wanted to bring George because he doesn't know how to cook, but I was like, anybody can like benefit from that, because you learn so much, like just from knife skills, and you guys that are on social media and preparing food and all that, it helps you so much. And one of the things that I had to do to actually graduate was to give 2 presentations. And I remember like of teaching people how to cook. And I was like, I'm never going to use this. This was way before like I created Fit Vegan Chef. I just wanted to be a food blogger at the time. So I'm like, I'm never going to use this. And I remember calling my husband and being like, I am panicked. I am scared to give any type of like class. I couldn't sleep for days. And that experience helped me so much give classes. Like, who knew 3 years after that I was going to be at expos presenting and doing cooking demos? I never thought that would happen. So that little
And on
thing,
stage.
yeah, that little thing got me out of my shell. I was so shy. Like, I would panic and cry for days just over this presentation. So I was like, it really changed my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would love to do a cooking class. Vegans Who Cook, John. I think we should find one.
I was about to say, we got the
Whoa.
Vegans Who Lift Coaching Academy. We can do the Vegans Who Lift Cooking Academy.
Because the
Run
thing
by
is,
Natalie.
it's such a science, and that's what I've underestimated a lot with cooking, is because you just think you can just combine like some things and they taste good and it turns out good, but it's so much more than that. Like, I got a Ninja Creamy, for example, and I'm thinking, like, how hard could it be? Like, I put some protein powder and ice in there, and then like everything turned out like shit. So I'm like on Reddit, like trying to figure out, like, what am I doing with this Ninja Creamy? Like, am I missing a part? And it's like this whole science. Like, everybody's like, you have to have the perfect ratios of like fat and
Yep.
protein, and it's like holy, like, mind blowing. And it's same thing with like cakes and baking. Like, it's like the perfect ratios. Like, you have to have like the perfect amount of fat or salt or sweetener, and it's crazy. So there's like way more science to cooking than people really realize.
Absolutely.
I was
Yeah.
definitely the just throw it all together kind of person.
Yeah, and it's so hard when you're trying to make it high protein and macro friendly too. That's where I struggle the most, and that's what it takes me so long to develop. But when I get it right, I'm like, okay, we're on a roll here. And it's kind of like, I compare it to like book writing, when you just hit like a what do they call it, writer's block. So if you have writer's block, you're not going to create anything, right? It happens to cooks as well. So you have to feel very inspired, and when it hits, but you do have to have a great balance with everything, or else even your macro-friendly things are gonna just be cardboard.
Yeah. That's one thing. When I found your page and I found your recipes and I ended up buying your ebook, eventually, I was just like, "Ah, finally," because as much as I love vegan recipes, there's so many vegan creators out there that a lot of their recipes are so high in fat, and they're not really calorie macro friendly either. They're very low on protein. So although they're really healthy, they just aren't really realistic for people who are trying to change their composition like we are, or maybe trying to get lean, maybe get show ready. So that's what I love about your recipes, is that they're very practical. Like, it's not a bunch of crazy ingredients that you see in a lot of vegan recipes too. And they're very macro friendly. Like, your ebook is just awesome. I've made so many good things from that. Like, the brownies were incredible. I could eat the whole pan. The lemon poppy seed pancakes. I mean, and it's really easy to find the ingredients, and it's really easy to make. And it's like you said, like, the protein content is there, and you don't have to sacrifice, really good food for really crappy macros.
No, thank you for saying that. No, that means a lot.
Yeah, you've done a really good job with it.
I want to scroll back just a little bit, because this might have been lost on some other people. You are one of the few competitors that was vegan prior to beginning their bodybuilding journey, if I'm understanding this correctly, right? Yeah. I was the same. Like, I became vegan at 13 and started working out at 15. So both of us, not too many, can say like everything that we have built has been done without animal protein. And so I think that's really awesome, especially to have a professional bodybuilder on here. I think that lends a lot more credibility, or at least the potential, because a lot of people be like, oh, well, you were just big and then you became vegan and you claim that it's that. So yeah, if anybody's watching, this is an example on the women's side. Like, if you've never eaten meat before, you can still grow, you can still become a bodybuilder. You got to get your protein, just not from animals.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it any other way, honestly. Like, I was, yeah, like I said, like I was vegan for a few years by the time I started lifting weights. So I learned how to do it vegan, and that's the only way. And I get all the time like people asking me, oh, like, which one do you like better? I'm like, I never did it the other way, so I have no idea. And I'm sure
And you're a natural athlete.
Yes.
So even more impressive that you've made it to pretty much the highest level of bodybuilding as 100% natural and vegan, and you built all of that vegan.
Yes. Yeah. Something that I'm really proud of, honestly. So yeah.
Very cool. Another thing I wanted to ask you about, I heard you mention that your transition to vegan was kind of like a year-long process. So I'm curious as to like what that process was like for you.
I feel like it could be very relatable to people because I just didn't want to make the necessary changes to go there. And I didn't have the ethical connection just yet. You know, I feel like I went vegan for health reasons. My husband inspired me to go vegan. He went vegan first. I was vegetarian by accident. I didn't know the words vegan and vegetarian existed, not in my Puerto Rican family. Like those things don't exist. So now they've gotten more popular, but I was a cheesetarian and I didn't want to give up my cheese. That is really what it was. So slowly through that year, I was slowly decreasing it, started feeling better, started experiencing a lot of like health benefits from it. I was doing competitive surfing and during that transition, and my weight dropped naturally from decreasing calories because the cheese, I literally would put it on everything, guys. It was an unhealthy addiction, and I know it. I would put it on cereal, on coffee, on everything. Like,
Wow.
and I always say this, and it's probably super redundant, but I would go through the 2-pound bags of Costco all by myself in a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you
So,
Kind of
still
impressive,
able
but
to go to the bathroom?
yes, I don't know how. I don't know how, but
And
that
did,
was my diet. It was cheese, pasta, and no greens, rice and beans. And yeah, through the transition, and I think that's why I fell in love with like the vegan lifestyle, not just the ethical and the environmental side and all of that, but it really opened up my eyes to all the foodie possibilities. Like I had such a limited diet because I didn't know any better, and I grew up in a culture where they don't teach you these things. So it just opened my eyes. Like I was trying veggies that I've never tried in my whole life, fruit that I never tried in my whole life. So it was just like, yeah, my transition was extremely slow. Just, I'll take accountability. I just didn't want to drop the cheese.
I've heard cheese as a sticking point for a lot of people, and I don't know. Maybe I just didn't have very good cheese as a kid because like it was never a big sticking point for me. Like I would have said maybe like candy or something. I don't know, ice cream, but like now there's all these vegan versions, so I don't feel like I'm missing out. But that's did you say cheese in coffee?
So my
I've
grandma
never
taught me there's a thing. So my grandma taught me this, and maybe you can try it with vegan cheese and let me know. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So we have Puerto Rican coffees, like kind of Cubano coffee, which is just like straight black, like a shot. Or we have I don't know what the name in English is, but it's a little pot that we put on top of the stovetop. It's very pungent, so it's not like American coffee. So I would drop, and I guess it's similar to what people in the keto community do with like the butter. So I would drop a piece of like cheddar cheese or mozzarella cheese, and then I would let it melt. And that's how we eat it.
I guess it's
You
not
know
that
what?
much different from creamer.
Yeah.
I'm
Let's
like,
try
don't
it.
try it. But I don't do it anymore. I was like, man, I was crazy back then.
Yeah, let's
Who
try
am
it with
I?
vegan cheese.
Yeah, who am I to judge? I'll try it with vegan cheese. I've tried some weird combos that have worked out. So pro tip, Natalie might know this, but like if you add salt to a dessert, it tastes even sweeter. Yeah,
Oh,
a lot of people
yes.
don't know that. So I'm gonna try cheese in my coffee, I guess. That's I did not expect that.
I feel like it's probably a big cultural thing for you too, right? Like cheese, I feel like is probably, and also John, probably cheese in Puerto Rico is probably much better than our cheese.
Yeah,
So
it was in every meal. So it was just like something that, yeah, I just gravitated towards. So I was vegetarian I say vegetarian on accident because I didn't know what vegetarian was, but I just never enjoy eating meat, eating chicken, all those things just straight up gave me like the gross, like ick. And I was like, I can't have that. That's an animal. I would make that connection, but I didn't make it with like the cheese. So
That's so funny that George actually went vegan before you. I didn't even know that.
yeah.
So, did he just randomly decide to go vegan, or what prompted him to go vegan?
So he was just eating vegetarian because that's what I cooked at home. So I guess we were both accidentally vegetarian, and he had really bad sinus infection problems. He is a helicopter pilot for the Coast Guard, so that's a big no-no. So he was about to get like medically disqualified, so he needed either to change his diet or do something surgically. So they were the doctor was like, hey, have you ever tried removing dairy? So that's what he did. So that accidentally made us transition our whole, I guess, household into vegan by accident. And then when we started educating ourselves more and more, we were like, the ethics. And that's what kept us vegan this long.
So is he in the military and currently a vegan at the same time?
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say you can't do that, but clearly we got at
And
least
he
one.
deployed for months doing it. And we could do a whole episode on that. It's pretty cool what he did. Yeah.
We might have to do that, Brooke.
Yeah.
Vegan in the military. Like, I feel like I was vegan in law enforcement. I got so much pushback. Like, oh, you can't even kill an animal. How are you going to stop a bad guy? I'm like, well, I could kick your ass. So that's a start. But okay, I'm not going to be mean. But yeah, I mean, I think it's more of, to me, it makes sense from a law enforcement or military standpoint. Like, we want to protect people that can't protect themselves. That would include animals. So it makes sense to me, but I know I'm weird.
He says the exact same thing. So
Here we go. I had one more question and now I forgot it. Oh, more of a statement. I have a lot of those. Yeah, Brooke's laughing because I always talk. Shit. But I think it's interesting, like your activism and your side, you provide easy ways for people to learn how to make these meals. And in your own journey, it wasn't the ethics that brought you over, but it is the ethics that kept you. And so I feel like for me, I don't try to propose what I'm doing is healthy. Like, I know being a bodybuilder isn't healthy. So I don't try and get people over here like, oh yeah, do it for your health. It is like more of that animal activism side, because we all do things that are inherently unhealthy. Like, people smoke and drink. So if you smoke and drink and you're vegan for health, it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So I think what you're doing now, and then also having this kind of this bridge for people to come over, offers a lot as far as the activism side.
oh, thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, I was similar. I pretty much like, so I went vegan after watching What the Health, and so the health scares are really what got me to go vegan, because I have so much, I mean, you name it in my family. We're from the South, like the deep South, so we have diabetes, high blood pressure, heart issues, strokes, all kinds of stuff. And then like you, it was really the animals that have kept me vegan. And so when people are like, you don't ever have a cheat meal, not a cheat meal like a vegan pizza. Like, they talk about a cheat meal like a piece of meat, like
No.
no, exactly. Like, would never even cross my mind. Just
oh my
because,
God.
yeah, I mean, I could never eat an animal now, but it is funny. Like, I'm sure people have probably asked you guys the same thing. Like, do you ever just have a cheat meal? And I'm like, yeah, I have a cheat meal every weekend. Oh, like, what do you have? And I'm just like a vegan pizza. They were like, no, like a piece of meat or something. I'm like, never.
Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah. It's crazy. But so I was curious as to what the road for you was like to getting your pro card. I find that so many people want to achieve that because it's such a big goal, and especially on the IFBB stage, like through NPC, that like people underestimate how really challenging it is. It's like, I think people assume that you win your show and you get your pro card, like in some other federations. But it's a huge achievement. Like, you win your little show and then you go on to a national show, and then all those little people who won their little shows are competing against you. So to get your pro card in a class of like 30, 40 people is like a really, really big deal. So yeah, I was curious as to what the process was like for you, how long it took you, maybe some highs and lows and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I had a very this will be an unrelatable story basically, because I feel like most people that started competing the same year that I competed and went for their pro card the same year, they still yet to achieve their pro card. So that's how hard, you know, it could take for most people. Like for some people, it could be like a journey of 10 years of just achieving that. So I am very aware that I had amazing genetics on my side, and B, I had something very unique. And I feel like most people that have the same story that I do, we all share the same thing. And that is that we were previous athletes in a different sport. So we had a foundation prior starting bodybuilding. And I feel like what happens with this is like, yeah, you have a solid muscle foundation. So when you start incorporating resistance and weight training, those newbie gains, they're just, you know, amazing. And you have that athlete mindset from your prior sport. So you're tackling it on full force from the very beginning versus somebody that's a newbie and starting straight out from ground zero. So that was like my case. I came from, you know, a competitive surfer who, not, you know, with surfing, the cool thing is we kind of naturally have that wide back and those ratios from swimming and just arching our back. So my shoulders, my back was very, very developed from swimming all those years. And once I started lifting, it just like took shape. So naturally, I just built that foundation. And I always said I was a bikini girl and I'm still a bikini girl. So it's kind of ironic that both of my sports, I'm in a bikini. But honestly, like I tackled that thing so hard. So the first year that I was like, okay, I'm gonna compete, I'm gonna go for this, I took it, I didn't go for a cut. I went straight into a building phase. So I think that's something that a lot of people don't do. They are doing it now because it's more talked about. But yeah, I did a whole building year. And then I went into my first prep. And I think that right there set me up for success. So I was years ahead of people, even though I was a newbie myself, but I feel like that really is what catapulted my journey. So the first year, 2017, I competed in the Natural Federation NFF. I won that show and I was like hooked. I didn't know if I wanted to like do it forever, or if it was a bucket list type of thing. But around that time, my husband again inspired me because he wanted to do it to prove that you could build muscle on a vegan diet. And I was like, man, that's cool. I'll do that too. And since I'm not surfing anymore, all my sponsors dropped me because I moved right away from the island. I was like, well, maybe this could be something that I can do now. And I just like blinders on and I gave it my all. So yeah, I got hooked on that first show. And the cool thing that happens in natural federations is like they NC you. This doesn't happen in the NPC or IFBB. They NC and they give you like a little background on the athlete. So they kept saying, oh, Natalie, can you believe she's a vegan? And like, look at how amazing she looks. I ended up winning the whole thing. And that right there, like just getting everybody's like thinking and talking, I was like, oh, this is how I can do my form of activism. Because for me, the word, when I would hear people talk about vegans, I would think like, oh, it's those crazy people that attack you and basically tell you go vegan or die. And I knew I didn't want to be that. So I was like, this could be my form of activism. So I got hooked and that was my why. So then after that, I did another natural show, got my pro card in that one. And I was like, okay, the feedback was like, you're just too muscular for this division. You're too muscular for the Natural Federation. Maybe you should try NPC. And I was like, wait, what? So I never expected that. So I was like, I'll try it. So I went to an NPC show in Texas and it was a huge, massive show. Like I remember getting on stage like at 2 a.m., something like that. It was like nothing was open around that time because it's so big. And I ended up placing second and qualifying for nationals in that one. And then I did Olympia Amateur and I got third, missing my pro card by 1. And that's when I was like, what is a pro card? Maybe I could do this thing. And that was a really cool show because it was people from all over the world. It was an international show. And I felt really proud and like, I don't know, like I just kept like thinking, okay, what's next? And I did my pro debut with the Natural Federation that year. won it, still got the same feedback. You're coming in too shredded. We don't want the NPC look here. So I was like, okay, well, this is not the federation for me then. And I'm going to pursue the NPC, which people seem to care more about that title. And I was like, well, if I'm going to share my story, I want to be the best. So I just went in that direction. And the following year, I did 2 national shows. Both, one got 3rd, the second one I got 4th. And then in NPC Universe, I ended up getting my pro card. And funny thing, Tori Washington got the same day, the same pro card. And we were just like, that day was so awesome. There was so many vegans supporting us. It was like the perfect day. So it was really fun. It was a really fun journey. It was a year journey, but I do understand that doesn't happen to everyone. But yeah, I just wanted to give the little back end of it so people would understand.
Yeah, definitely exceptional. I don't think anybody listening, unless they're an active competitor, has a clue what you went through. And at a very fast rate. I was 5. Did you say 5 different shows to end up getting the card? Does that sound right?
So it was 3 national shows, and I got my, on my 3rd attempt on the national show, I got my pro card.
Okay. Yeah. So like it didn't happen the first day or the second day or the third day. It took a few, and that's still fast. I mean, every division's a little bit different, but like I thought in 2021, the first time I'd been on stage since 2014, I was like, oh, I could be pro in 2 years. And now it's 2024, and I'm like, it's going to be at least 2 more years, at least. So it's a long road for most people. The whole activism side, I didn't know that you and Tori were at the same show. That's pretty freaking cool. Another pro vegan bodybuilder. If I wasn't able to say that I'm vegan or like promote that, I wouldn't compete. It wouldn't be worth it for me. So I can relate to you there.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like what would lit my fire up. I don't know. I was like, okay, this is what I was meant to do. Maybe it wasn't surfing, because I was an okay surfer, but I never broke like my big goals with it. And like, I don't know, when I started doing bodybuilding, I was like, okay, this is what I was meant to do. It just made sense. I don't know. I got so hooked. But that year, yes, it did happen quick. But just think about it. I was stage lean for a whole year. That hurt, and I'm probably still recovering from that. So yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any sort of rebound or any sort of like thyroid, gut issues or anything like that from being so lean for so long?
So again, another weird thing with Puerto Rican culture, dieting is not a big thing. So this was my first ever experience dieting. So I think I just like all of the cards aligned for me. I didn't have diet or food issues prior to any of this. So it wasn't a thing. So even coming off of that show, of my last show, I didn't rebound that year. I did rebound on 2019. And it was because I decided, oh, I'll do my pro debut. I got that bug and I was just like, let's keep going. But I ignore all the signs of my body being like, hey, we can't do this anymore. And right after that 2019 season, I experienced a bad rebound, which is not a bad rebound compared to other people, but for me, it was, for somebody that has never been like super overweight or anything like that. For me, it was like mentally very challenging.
Yeah, very common in the sport, and a lot of people don't really talk about it or share that, but it is very common. I also think it's really interesting that the Natural Federation was pretty much just like, hey, you're too muscular. You need to go to the NPC. That's just really surprising to me. But when you do look at the pros on the natural stage, they look way different. And so I can understand why they encouraged you to go to NPC. And I mean, obviously it was the right decision for you. And like you said, it is a little bit more prestigious in a way, like being an IFBB pro, and you can reach certainly more people that way for, getting the vegan message across, which I think is huge and so important. And, the more vegan IFBB pros, the better, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, a lot has changed since then. So now, like, the natural federations are very competitive and are rewarding physiques like mine now. So that's been really cool to see, transitioning from the years, because when bikini started, I think it was like 5-6 years old when I started bikini. So it was still a relatively new category. So, and you know, the other federations were jumping in on it when it wasn't quite developed just yet. So I feel like it was definitely the right transition for me, and I wouldn't like change my path any other way, because it worked out amazing, and I accomplished so much, so I don't take it for granted one single bit.
Yeah, it's crazy how much it's changed over the years. Like even just bikini, like I remember looking at bikini girls like when I just first started thinking about competing, and I was just like, I don't know if I'll fit in that category. And then now, I mean, just like looking at the Olympia winners, and even just like the women on the pro stage, I mean, they're jacked. Like these are athletes. And we talked a little bit about this on Danny Taylor's episode, just about how much it's evolved. And I mean, I guess really all of the divisions, like at one point figure was almost like an entry-level division. Like people could really, you know, go and compete in figure if they didn't have a lot of experience, and it's not even really like that anymore. Even bikini, like I feel like bikini you could train for a reasonable amount of time, I feel. And then that's another thing with you is like you had been training a long time before you had actually even stepped on stage. Like you had put in a lot of work and a lot of time. And bikini now is so competitive, it's insane. And I mean, like that's why you constantly see like the Olympia winners, like they're always just trading places. It's always the same people, and they're just trading spots. It's so highly competitive. But yeah, they're so much more muscular now. I mean, I like the look, but again, it's like it's a division where it's really hard. It's subjective a lot of times, you know, and it's all about having a look. And even like I was watching the results from the Arnold, and we might be getting too into the weeds here, but it was, you know, such minor differences between like the top two. And it's just it's so interesting with bikini how subjective it is, and how the criteria, like sometimes they like the more conditioned look, sometimes they like the more full, more bubbly look. So it's just kind of all over the place.
It is.
I think
It's wild, because even like with the girls, like some judges will like this girl leaner and this one more fuller. So it almost seems like there's no clear, you know, guideline, and you're like, well, what do I do? So
a lot of people will talk down to bikini because it is the smallest of the female divisions. But I mean, if I had to pick probably the hardest division right now, I think it would be bikini, at least to an extent. It may be the most competitive. There's more people competing in bikini than any other division. From an objectivity side, on the male side, or I guess you could even look at female bodybuilding, like bodybuilding at its core, like a men's open, is about becoming as extreme, like whatever extreme size, leanness. I guess that's really, I mean, you got purport conditioning, like all of those are going to be pushed as far to the extreme as they can. Whereas bikini is pulled back to this moving goalpost. So you might have the physique that would have won this year, but then next year they want you a little bit harder, a little bit softer. And it's from a coaching point, it's like trying to hit a moving target versus a stationary target. It's a lot harder. And then you got a lot of other people shooting at that target too. So yeah, what you've done is a lot harder than people give credit for.
yeah, and I'll never forget, like, even like to just piggyback on what you just said, in 2019, one of my feedbacks, this was in my pro debut season, was like, your quads are getting too big. Stop training quads. And I was like, me? I got chicken legs. What are you talking about? Like, I couldn't believe it. So they were really trying hard to keep the division to where it was back then. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take 2 years off, and I'm going to grow as much as I can, you know, because I'm not enhanced. So I have to take my time off away from the stage to really, really be at a surplus and do all these things. And I come back, and now everybody's training quads. And I'm like, well, I was listening to this feedback, and I do not look anything like these girls anymore because I was training for that feedback. So that just goes to show you got to even like take it with a grain of salt and not really like look into it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like like you just have to bring your best, and it's just crazy because you look at like Amy, and she's got like pretty big quads. Always worry about that with me in bikini. Like I just feel like my quads are going to be the death of me. I've yet to go to a national show, so I guess that will really determine, you know, where I stand, and I'll figure it out then. But yeah, it's crazy how much it changes, and especially for you, like you dedicated 2 years to growth and to really bring in that bikini physique, just for it to change dramatically in a year, in 2 years. It's crazy. And I mean, I think the other divisions are like that too. At least the women's divisions. Well, men's physique, I would say as well, has changed quite a bit. But like women's wellness, I mean, oh my gosh, like it's just changing rapidly. I mean, the way that the criteria is.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's even like Natalie was saying on the natural side, like they're doing maybe a better job of adhering to their subjective standards. Because I recently attended a natural show, and there was this guy in men's physique, and it's the smallest of the men's categories, but this guy was pretty big. Like I was like, this guy could go to NPC if he wanted to. And he got last place. I was like, whoa, like they're not rewarding him at all for being big. So for me, it was like, I'm so glad I'm not a judge here. Like I don't want that. Um, but to tie us into the next thing, so did you have a coach for your preps, or were you self-coached? How did you do that?
So my first year, I had a coach, and then between going from the natural federations to the NPC side, I actually coached myself. Don't ask me how, but I coached myself. And then I was like at the Olympia Amateur, and I was like, I coached myself leading up to the Olympia Amateur. And on that peak week, I was like, I don't know what to do on peak week. Let me hire this random coach. I hired these coaches. They gave me all the bro stuff and completely like got me even leaner when I didn't really need to get any leaner. I was like absolutely shredded, and they were like manipulating water and all of these things that I was like, I don't think I should be doing this. So that's when I got Paul Vervilla, which he was this amazing. I worked with him for 4 years. And then for my recent prep, I used Jamie DeBernard from Fit Body Fusion. But yeah, I don't think I'll do that by myself again. I keep saying maybe I'll do it by myself, but you just need that second pair of eyes. When you're that lean, you're not thinking straight. You don't see yourself straight. So it's so important to have like somebody that you trust to like guide you. So even though you know how to get yourself lean, but yeah, towards the end, like everything just gets so foggy.
Yeah, guys and girls that are listening and want to compete, hire a dang coach.
Yeah, you need to invest.
It's impossible to be objective while you're doing it. If you don't believe me, compete and then wait 6 months and go back and look at your photos, and you'll be like, damn, I was ripped. And it's like, you were the whole time and you just didn't even know it. I know that's like how me and Brooke really connected. She was going through a prep and dealing with a coach that had a lot of interesting decisions he was making. And Brooke was like, kind of like, how do you think this looks? Do you think this sounds right? And that was where we really started communicating, because I was just able to be objective. I wasn't her coach. I wasn't her mom. So I'm not going to just be like, yeah, you look great. Like, you know, I'm going to be very objective and try and help. So then I know you've just recently launched that you're coaching yourself as well, right?
Yeah. You're saying no for 7 years.
Yeah, it took me forever, and that was my own like self-doubt. I just didn't believe in myself, so that's why I didn't. But what led up to this, or why did it take you 7 years to go ahead and start doing what you're doing now with coaching?
I think imposter syndrome. I never thought I was good enough, but I knew I was good, if that makes sense. Like I knew I was a good caring coach. And in 2020, my husband and I actually were owners of a CrossFit gym, and I got to work in person with a lot of people, and I got the bug. I was like, oh, wow, I need to do this. This is amazing. And when we moved here, I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to do this. And yeah, I'm so happy that I did. It's so rewarding, and it really like fills my cup. Like Brooke said at the beginning, like I'm just really grateful. Like I have attracted the right people, and they're just a joy to work with. And I'm just like really, really excited. So I am challenge focused coach. So we do challenges. So it's not like your traditional one-on-one, but we're already in challenge 2 with the same group. I didn't open it to the public because I wanted to continue this journey with the same group of people. I'm like emotionally invested. I really like my girls. And yeah, I know that with challenges, it's just a short time frame. So I just want more time and continue to help them and give them all the tools. Like a big core value of mine has always been education. So educating them for like what to do after, like, eventually you won't need me. And that's like every coach's dream, shoot strive for their clients to just, bye-bye, you got this on your own. Obviously if they're competing, that's a different story. But for lifestyle clients, I really want to empower people to have all the tools that they need to be successful in life, So that's been a big forefront in what we're doing. So I'm really, really proud of it and really excited.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So what made you decide to go with a challenge instead of like one-on-ones or any other form of coaching style?
Good question. So with that, for me, it was reach. I wanted to like help as many people as I could. And I knew that way I could have like the group calls and like talk with these women and community. So a big part of it is the community. And that I learned having my CrossFit gym community was everything. So it was something that I always wanted to create. And again, being a fit vegan on a stranded island, you feel so alone. And just getting all these women with like same like-minded goals and empowering each other and helping each other, motivating, it's really cool. So I think that was my main goal. It was just community and reach.
Yeah, love it. What would you say has been like the biggest challenge with online coaching for you?
So when I was doing in-person coaching, one thing that I love to do was like physically hold my person and like, help them navigate the weights and like be there for them and like, hey, like what you're targeting right now is your deltoid. You should feel it right here. And bringing that in, that's been a challenge for sure, because now I have to do it with videos or like seeing their form or, and things like that through a video versus me being like manually there. I'm a very like in-person person, I guess. So I think that's been the biggest challenge for me.
Definitely an extra layer of complexity there. For me, it's funny, like as the coach, I'm actually probably asking more questions than telling them what to do. Instead of like, make sure you feel this here, I'll say, where do you feel this? And I'll be like, I feel that in my lower back. I'm like, okay, well, we're training hamstrings or we're training quads. We don't want to feel that in our lower back. Let's change this up. So yeah, it's a whole different ballgame online. But like you said, that reach, you can reach a lot more people. We've done that with the Vegans Who Lift Academy. Now I'm thinking we got to have a Vegans Who Lift challenge.
You should.
That would be awesome.
The wheels are turning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have different options too, right? So if people aren't just limited to like weight loss, which I think a lot of people think about when they think challenge. So they have the option to maintain, or they get like bulking calories, right?
So that's one thing that I really wanted to set myself apart with, was like I kind of want to disrupt the challenge scene, because I've seen like it goes very south for a lot of these women. Like they almost get addicted to doing this over and over and over because they don't know how else to sustain their results. And that was one thing that I was like, okay, I feel really bad, because I would be at the gym and I would see people and they're like, oh, I'm doing a challenge. And I'm like, again, like for a whole year, you're constantly in this deficit or you're completely off. And I was like, okay, how can I fix this? So that's kind of how everything started turning for me. I was like, okay, we will offer a cut. We will offer a build, but it's going to be a conservative build. It's not going to be like, hey, eat everything and then like, let's go for a cut on the next one. That's not my goal. I want you to feel good. I want you to put on muscle, but I want you to feel good in the process. But let's do something else. There's girls like me that have reached a point where we're really happy with our physiques, and all that we want to continue doing is continue to build muscle. but maintain our body weight and perform, have the enough calories to eat. So I was like, nobody's offering maintain. Why is nobody offering maintain? So I did that, and it's going well. I'm really happy because the transformations that my maintenance challenge members experience, it's, blowing my mind because it's sustainable. It's sustainable. The challenge is over and they feel empowered to go off on their own. And that's kind of what I wanted. I didn't want this, like, you either have to be cutting or building, especially if you're not in competitive bodybuilding. Like, why so much extremes? Why not live in the body that you worked so hard to get to? So that's kind of like, again, coming back to education, like the people that decided not to continue on for the second challenge, I provided them with a reverse dieting blueprint. I made sure to give them all the tools so they're not like, so what do I do now? Do I go to another challenge? So that was really, really important to me. I just wanted to fix those little things that I've seen in the challenge world.
That's huge. I love that. And I love that about you, that you have a lot of integrity with your work. Like, it's not just, people aren't just a dollar sign. Like, you actually care about your followers, your clients, like your viewers on YouTube. Like, you genuinely want to put out good information. And like, it's like you said, there's almost like this toxic cycle now of people doing challenges, or like 75 hard is like, is super popular. And I see people doing 75 hard, like you said, like back to back. Like, well, I got such great results like doing it the first time, so I'm just going to do it again. And I'm like, oh my God, but like, what about your metabolism?
It didn't work. If you're continuing to go to these patterns, it didn't work. And it's funny you mentioned that, because I had to have these hard conversations with my clients when they're like, oh, I only know how to do this doing 2 hours of cardio, eating below 1,000 calories, and, basically having no life. And I'm like, are you prepping for a show? And what are you doing? Like, this is your lifestyle. Is this sustainable for your lifestyle? You shouldn't be doing that. That's not the only way. And that was something that I was very transparent to. Like, when people were like, how much can I lose in 8 weeks? I was like, this is realistic and this is not. So I was never trying, again, numbers were never a thing for me. I actually capped the first challenge because I was like, whoa, it's getting too out of control. I want to make sure that I have enough time with everybody, and I'm very involved. I am doing the coaching, and I have an assistant coach. So that's another thing that I'm doing differently from all the other challenges where the main face is not a coach. So that was something that, again, I wanted to, maybe it's dumb on my end because I can't scale, but that's not my ultimate goal. My goal is to help people. So
I don't think it's dumb. I don't think it's dumb either, because like, I mean, you're changing people's lives, and ultimately that's your goal. And I know you and I talked a little bit about in DMs about having an assistant coach, because that's something I've struggled with for a really long time too. And I remember going through a business coaching course where they were really trying to push me to take a step back from like the everyday processes of like communicating with my clients, uploading meal plans, uploading workouts, and just be more so like in the driver's seat, like driving in leads, like showing up on socials. But I was just really concerned about somebody stepping in who could still provide the same service that I could. And at the same time, I feel like people are hiring me because they see me on my social media. I don't really, it's like not ethical to me to just let somebody take my spot and just like hand off, 50, 40 people to this person and just say, okay, take care of their fitness goals. So yeah, I like that you are so involved with your coaching. And I do think that's something huge that sets you apart as from the crowd as well, because so many people do that now, or they hire someone to act like them. So like, I would hire a coach, and that coach would pretend they're Brooke, right? But they're actually, giving advice to people as themselves. So I like that you're so authentic and you're so hands-on with your coaching.
Yeah, and if I ever bring people in, they have to be the right fit. And I would always voice that out, like I would never make people think, oh, it's somebody, it's Natalie when it's not Natalie. And I think I have built enough trust with my audience, and they know that I'm authentic, and they know that I would never hire somebody that doesn't match my energy and that doesn't match my philosophies and my training philosophies. So that's, I think I mentioned it to you. So like, don't feel, basically like it would be a bad thing, because if you do find the good fit, like that's the thing, people are going to be still learning from you. They're learning from you. So, but yeah, I'm just really proud of what I built, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you what's been your favorite part of your challenge?
Definitely the weekly calls. Those are really fun. I know you do a lot of lives, so you can like relate to that. Like I just think it's so cool to connect with who's behind the camera. Like oftentimes, like for the past 7 years, and I think that's what I miss is like I just been talking to a camera, and I connect with my audience a lot because I always answer all of like the comments on YouTube and all of that. But this is different. Like now I get to like really interact with them and like really learn from them and support them because they supported me for 7 years. So now I get to be a part of their journey in a like even deeper way. So that's been really, really cool.
Yeah. And it's really the connections that make it so fulfilling, at least for me, you know,
Yes.
and like sometimes like I've even had clients just become like friends. Like they
Yeah.
don't work with me anymore. Like I had a client who I got really close with. Her name was Nicole. And, you know, she was like, all right, I think I'm ready to like spread my wings and fly and try this on my own. And it was like 2 years later. And I'm like, look, I totally encourage you to do that. Go do it on your own. If you need anything, I'm here. And like every once in a while, she'll just text me and be like, happy birthday or Merry Christmas, you know, and it's like those connections that you create with people are really just what makes what we do so worthwhile.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. Our academy has done that for me. I feel
Yeah.
I resonate with Natalie. Like I'm always putting out there, but not really getting in real time feedback from people. So getting once a week, we sit down and we have class for about an hour. We usually run over, but getting to see all the students that come and have live questions, it's pretty fulfilling.
It is. Yeah, it's really fun. Now you guys need to do a challenge.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm down.
Speaking of the academy, so we're helping people build their social media. Me and John are still actively working on our YouTube. YouTube is something that I'm still trying to navigate and get into. You are pretty much a pro at YouTube, I would say.
Thank you for
So
saying that. It doesn't feel like it, but thank you.
your YouTube is so impressive. So yeah, I would love some advice, and I'm sure some people listening, they may have their own hobbies or, you know, whatever that they want to pursue a YouTube about. So what would you say has been really helpful for you to build such a successful presence on YouTube?
I think it all goes back to just being authentic, really. As corny as it sounds, like when I turned on that first time, like the camera, I was like, again, super nervous, sweating everywhere. Like I just didn't know who I was talking to. And it goes back to community. I just wanted a community and I wanted to inspire people. And I was like, okay, maybe if even one person is listening, that's all, that's all. If I can help one person. So yeah, it started with that and just being very authentic, being always very raw and real. I documented everything, the highs, the lows. Like people have seen me like in my real lows and those rebounds that happen and navigating life and all of those things. I was always very raw and real, even when I didn't want to show up, because that was important. Because I always thought that, yeah, IG can be a very like a highlight reel. So I wanted to break that in YouTube because it was important, because now you have like the long format. YouTube is my favorite platform and you can really connect with your audience. You can really build a community and build that trust. So for years, I never sold anything. For years, I never expected my audience to do anything. I provided content for them. Simply it. I provided value, education. So we always go back to that. And yeah, I just was able to build this amazing like tribe that sticks with me and comes to shows and supports me, and like it's just wild. So yeah, I never had an agenda to turn it into something, and I think again that kind of set me apart. But now that it's here, I'm just so grateful, honestly, because I don't feel alone anymore, and I get to connect with people like you that are in the same space, so we're not alone anymore. Like back then I was just shouting and I was like, hello, are you there? And now it's like there's so many of us and it's really, really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The two biggest things, value and then authenticity or keeping it raw or putting a little bit of vulnerability out there. In my own journey, that's helped the most on Instagram, trying to do similar things on YouTube. And I think you've already hit on that. Like, if people have been paying attention, you posted all your fails for the muscle ups. You posted the times that you were down after competing. Like, this isn't a highlight reel. If you only post a highlight reel, you're not relatable to. You
Yeah.
seem like too far out there, too different. I love a good story where somebody does fail along the way. Like, I mean, look at like the Rocky movies. He lost in the first movie, but like everybody fell in love with him. So
We're really
um
a big fan of the Rocky movies. Keep moving forward was the mantra that we use for all of our things. And people are like, really, Rocky? And I'm like, yeah. Like, it was
yeah.
awesome. It's awesome.
They're good.
Well, I can say your YouTube is definitely successful, at least in the fact that that's how I first learned about you. You
No
popped
way.
up on one of my like suggested searches or something, and that was it for me. So
That's
um
wild. Oh my gosh.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but same. That's why I love your YouTube, is because I get so much value from it. Like my Ninja Creamy situation, like I was like, shit. And then I was like looking on YouTube and I'm like, oh my God, Natalie has a Ninja Creamy episode, like video. I'm in the right place. Like, which by the way, I got to make the mint one because that one looked really good.
Yes. So be careful, because that video I put way too much mint and then it was like, whoo, it was a lot. But yeah, just add a little bit at a
Okay.
time. Add a little bit at a time. But yeah, another thing that I would suggest, like as far as advice goes, like quality over quantity. We can get very wrapped up in having to post every day or having to post like multiple times on, especially on YouTube is long format. So even if I don't show up for a month, I know that when I show up, it's going to be quality and it's going to be education and it's going to be something that my audience will learn from. So yes, sometimes I post things for fun, but I don't know. I just go back to like, I just want to like be a positive light in a not so positive world these days. So even though sometimes I'm like, I mean, I'm a positive person as it is, so I can understand some people like, does she ever go through rough times? But I just try to look positive in every situation. But with YouTube, I just really wanted to like make sure that education is in the forefront, whether it is like, making a fun video or making a Ninja Creamy, like you're learning, but you don't really know it. So
Yeah, the quality of your videos is really good. Like all of your equipment and like your technical stuff is really, and I know George helps you a lot with that, right?
yeah, George has been amazing because this became something that I started with like my phone camera and it wasn't perfect. That's the thing. Like a lot of people want to get it all perfect. And I'm like, just literally turn on your phone and start, because it's never going to be perfect. And we're always learning. And just like our fitness journey is not perfect, like that's how everything is. So George found like this huge passion for editing and content creating, but telling my story. So that's like, he is like the behind the scenes. So we just are able to do this really fun thing together. So that's another reason why I can't post that frequently, because he has a full-time job. I have a full-time job. So it becomes a little bit hard, but whenever we get to create that magic together, we just make sure that it's good.
Oh.
Man, that's awesome. Okay, so me and John, we need to get a cooking class, and I need to send my boyfriend off to like camera editing technical school, see what he can do on my videos.
I love
I was
it.
gonna say
Yeah.
I need to get
In the family.
a George, but I do have a
Yeah.
Sean. So Sean, thank you. He keeps up. I do 5 videos a week, and he keeps up with those, and
Wow.
that I know that's a lot. I used to edit for videos for a small company, so like I have an idea of the time involved.
Wow, that's
Um,
amazing. That's really good though. I wish I could do that, but yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, just keep at it. Honestly, it'll grow. Like you just can't get discouraged. I think the biggest thing with like YouTube, like so many people will be like on YouTube for a couple years and they don't see anything trending up, but don't let that be the focus. If you keep showing up, eventually something will happen. And guess what? That audience is gonna go, like, I can't tell you how many people still like are typing like, oh, this video was awesome, and it's my first video. And I'm like, cringe. It's like, no, why are you watching that? So it
yeah.
goes back. So yeah, I tell people like, just don't get discouraged. Like somebody is watching.
Yeah. And once somebody might find your video now and be like, oh my God, I love this person. I'm going back and watching 7 years. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Literally.
just curious. Have you guys noticed that trolls? This has just been my experience, but I have noticed trolls are way worse on YouTube than like Instagram or Reddit, TikTok, like you name it.
I have a mix. I feel like they're equally bad on both.
Okay.
I feel like you have an affinity for trolls. I don't know how it happens to you so much.
I don't know. I don't know if a bunch of carnivores have found my YouTube and I'm on like some list somewhere. I don't know, but like I swear, like my YouTube, I really don't deal with it that much on Instagram. Like occasionally I'll get some weird comments. But YouTube, it's like lately every time I post a short, even the shorts, they get like troll comments. I don't know.
Free
That's crazy.
engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe this is not helping my engagement, but a while back, like a long time ago, I blocked certain words. Like I would block people that would constantly comment like die because you're vegan or something like that. So I blocked the word died, and I blocked like triggering words too. So maybe that's why I don't see them, and I rather not see them, to be completely honest. So I just did that for both. But I noticed YouTube does a really good job at, I don't know if you notice, they'll put it in a hidden folder. So for you to approve certain ones, because if somebody says like, oh, this recipes to die for is so good, it'll still flag it and it'll hide it. But they're doing a really good job at keeping the comment section positive. That's why I really love YouTube.
Okay, I don't know. I guess that's just been my experience, but I'll have to throw in some hidden words.
No,
or
for sure.
something.
If you see like a common theme, yeah. And yeah, if you don't care, just leave it there. But yeah.
My other thing with YouTube is I feel like I overthink everything, which I think is a lot of people's problems too with content. Like, I don't know why. I'm fine on Instagram. Like, I can just create anything that just pops in my head. But YouTube, I'm like, no, if this is going to be a 5-minute video, like this has to be really good. And I overthink it. But I see so many people just like making random videos, just them talking to the camera about like 5 tips for weight. I know like John's like doing great. He's doing like his, like the vegan Sam Sulik, talking in the car videos, like
Talking like I pretend my best friend or my girlfriend or my mom is sitting there and I'm FaceTiming them. Like I just jump right in and like say whatever the fuck comes into my mind. It's fun.
That's
I
pretty
mean,
much.
Brooke, you just got to get more videos going because you've done so many
I
posts.
know.
So you're good at that and you're comfortable. Like I'm actually okay with it because when I worked for that small company, I had to make I made 30 or 40 videos for them. And then I had my fitness company that I had made like over 100 videos for. So like, this is new, but it's not really new for me. Like I've done it before. It's just this channel for me is new. So like anything, you just practice a few times and it gets easy.
Yeah, I gotta stop overthinking. I'm like, this needs to be groundbreaking, like something somebody's never seen before. And I'm like, it's so stupid.
No, show up the same way. If it's working on one side, just show up a little bit longer over here. And that's literally like, that's how you carry over one side to the other.
For me, at least this works for me. I don't know if it works for everybody. It doesn't work for some of my clients. If you pay for something, you're going to follow through with it. Now, I've had a lot of people pay up front for coaching and then ghost me, so that's weird. But like for me, like I knew I wanted to do YouTube, so I was like, let me hire Sean and get started. And once I was like, okay, I'm paying for this, I better do it. Whether or not it's my best work ever, I would say it's getting better, but put some skin in the game, and then you're kind of forced to do it.
Yeah, but you guys, you got really lucky. You have a really good person. I've been through a few editors and they weren't that good. So you keep him because he's amazing.
And he's on retainer. He ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, Sean. So does George do your like intro, like that cool little intro you do, or is that someone
that took a long time. That took a long time. He's self-taught, so he'll watch like videos for hours on how to do that one little, I think it's like 2-second clip, which is super wild. But yeah, he will go down the rabbit hole, and our fun time is looking at how to make good YouTube videos. So yeah, he's amazing at it. But Yeah, you don't really need an intro, and I think intros are dying, to be completely honest, on the YouTube
Really?
scene. It's just that I always had one, and it feels weird taking it away, but a lot of people are not using them anymore.
Yeah. You jump
Interesting.
like I mean, I could be wrong here. I mostly watch bodybuilders and food, so this might not apply to all channels, but you might jump in and like the first 15 seconds is really like 20 minutes into the video, and it's like the really important part. And then if there is an intro, it's like real quick, like 2-3 seconds, and then it starts where the video starts. That's what
Yeah.
I've seen more of lately.
Like a hook at the beginning of the video of like what the meat of the video is going to be, they'll put it in the front, kind of like how some podcasts are doing. Like, I don't know if you've seen Rich Roll, he'll put all the highlights at the beginning. So that's kind of like the same concept that I think is carrying over to YouTube rather than those intros. So don't make that the thing to not make you start, because really, like, I think I'm probably one of the few that's still doing it.
Yeah, I love your intro because, like, I literally, when I watch one of your YouTube videos, like, I feel like I'm watching like the Natalie Matthews show. Like, it feels like, like I'm actually watching like a TV show or something. But yeah, that's interesting. I also think people's attention spans now are so short, so I'm sure that probably plays a role in it. And I don't know, clickbaity stuff. Everybody's into clickbait now. Like,
I know.
you do a clickbait thumbnail, you do a little clickbait intro, and that's what gets views and shares.
I know, it's crazy, but I try my best not to fall into those traps, just because I want to still be me. And my channel has evolved so much throughout the years, and one reason why I keep that little intro is because I don't want a new person to come in and not know what they're getting into. Like, they're gonna be like, wait, she's bodybuilding today, tomorrow she's doing this, she's doing that. Like, at least, like, when with that little intro you get a snippet of everything, and you're like, okay, this is what you're expecting. So that's why I leave it in there. But yeah, I feel like I need to part ways with it eventually.
I like it, but yeah, I guess we'll see how things are always changing on socials. So we
TikTok's getting
also,
banned.
oh yeah, TikTok is getting, well, not, I mean, it still has to go to the Senate, but in the House of Representatives, it was like 350 votes or something to 65. So if it's something similar in the Senate, TikTok's probably going to get banned.
Wait, what's happening? Why am I?
Yeah, literally the government, the US government is trying to ban TikTok.
Wow.
I guess because I don't know, there's all this like talk about the Chinese Communist Party censoring stuff from the Western world. So Sean said, unless they can be purchased by an American company. So the idea is like they feel like the Chinese Communist Party is interfering with I don't know, the algorithm. Like I think it was Marco Rubio said something like TikTok has one of the best like artificial intelligence algorithms in the world. So like they're just very worried about like the Chinese Communist Party having that. But yeah, the House of Representatives, they passed the bill. So now it has to go to the Senate. If the Senate passes it, then Joe Biden signs it and TikTok is banned unless they're purchased by an American company. I don't know who that would be, like Mark Zuckerberg or whatever.
Go Musk. You already got Twitter.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that. See, I'm not on I try to be on TikTok, but I never got the hang of it. So I just stopped posting at all. Like,
Me either. Yeah.
It was too many platforms for me to like actually produce content. And I didn't want to like repost the same thing everywhere. It just felt like weird. So I was just like, no for TikTok.
Yeah, my TikTok never did well either. So I'm definitely not hurt that it may or may not get banned, but it's kind of crazy because some people, they really do have their entire careers on there. Like there's some people who I know on Instagram, they have like 3,000 followers, but on TikTok, they have like some crazy, like hundreds of thousands. And so, I mean, I feel bad for those people because it would be like our Instagram or like your YouTube, like,
yeah. That wouldn't be.
That's why I branched out to YouTube this year. So I'm like, I don't want all my eggs in one basket.
That's
my vegan eggs. Easter's coming up. That kind of fits.
Vegan Easter eggs.
I don't know. I want to just ask kind of a random question. Who inspires you? Who do you look up to, either in the fitness scene or the vegan scene? Who's somebody that you want to emulate or be more like?
I mean, it's no secret. My husband, like, I always try to like strive for like just being like him. He's always educating himself. He's always doing better, working on his fitness, setting goals. Like, he's just awesome. So I owe it. Like, he has inspired me to go vegan, to do bodybuilding. Like, literally, like, since George came into my life, as crazy as it sounds, like, it just became better and it started making sense. I come from a really rough upbringing, so like, I don't know. It just he's my guy.
That's so
Oh,
sweet.
that's amazing. Man, I
Sorry
wish
to
my
hear
boyfriend would say that about me.
It's like really like I don't have like I don't know. I feel like in the fitness world, like somebody I always struggle with this question because I don't really have like idols, I guess. Like, but people that I look up to, like somebody that's really kind and genuine. You might know her, Brooke, Angelica Teixeira. She is Miss Bikini Olympia, I think from 20. She won it 2, 3 times, and she's so kind. Like, I remember when
Was
I
she the one
got
at the Arnold this year? And she took some time. Oh, yes. Yeah. She's beautiful. She's a mom.
yeah, she's
Amazing.
so
Yeah.
kind. I remember getting off stage when I won my pro card, and she didn't need to be there, but I guess she flew just to welcome the new pros, like out of her own pocket, because she felt like she's the Miss Bikini Olympia, and she wanted to like welcome the new pros to the pro league, and she was like my. When I looked at a bikini physique, she was the one that I strived for. So I was like, wow, like that's really kind of a person. And she was so humble, and I don't know, like just treats everybody like their best friend, and that's somebody that I really try to embody. And yeah.
Wow. I love her even more now that you shared that story. Yeah, I saw her, like, she made a big comeback this year
Yeah.
after taking some time off. And she made a really awesome post about just being a mom and navigating through it all. Which is, it's really, I mean, it is really incredible. Like, so many women think they're held back because they're moms and they have kids. And so I mean, like, I can't speak to that. I don't have any kids and don't know if I will, but she is like a great example of how you can still like wear all the hats and still like pursue your dreams and like prioritize yourself. So yeah, I think that's a good one.
Yeah, no,
She's a
every
good
time that
one.
I talk to her, she's just been amazing. And she has a great YouTube channel, so you should check it out. It's really, really inspiring, especially if you go back and see like before everything and get to follow her journey to becoming Miss Bikini Olympia. Like, she really wore that hat really good. And I was like, man, like, I want to be like that.
I'll have to watch her YouTube then.
Yeah.
Definitely. I know I like supporting people in the industry who are like genuinely good people.
Yeah.
Because it's not always easy to find really, really good people in bodybuilding. So yeah, there's a few people who I kind of feel like that about Maureen.
Yeah. Super genuine.
Yeah, she seems to be like a really like real authentic person. Like, she came from a really difficult background as well. So yeah, I'll have to check that out. Cool.
Yeah.
And then we also wanted to ask you about your future plans and if you have anything in mind for coming up, any specific goals. I know you've talked about taking a long break from competing, and just wanted to kind of see where your mindset is as far as like competing, personal life, work life, coach life.
I think right now I don't have any plans of competing, and it feels crazy to say out loud. I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm retired because I feel like I'm going to get an itch, and knowing me, I just get that itch and I go. And yeah, I just feel like the division has evolved into something else. And at the end of the day, is a comparisons game. And I know that my best is not it anymore. So I'm okay with stepping away, even if I didn't like accomplish my ultimate dream. Maybe it'll happen in the future. Who knows? Now there's Masters Olympia, and possibilities are endless. So maybe I'll do another sport. Who knows? I'm always up to something. So yeah, just because like this goal wasn't checked off, it's not like the end all be all. I feel like I still accomplished all the other goals that I wanted, which was to inspire people and give them hope. So they now have hope that they can achieve maybe going into the bodybuilding scene as a vegan. So that is checked off, you know.
That's what we're here for. How old are you, Natalie?
I just turned 35.
Oh, so Masters is open, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could
It's hard to
happen.
believe you're 35. You just like you. I mean, I would never have guessed you're 35. Not that even 35 is like that old. It's not. But you just seem so like youthful and young. Like I always feel like vegans we age in reverse.
Yeah, I feel like it too. I don't know. I look back at my old pictures and I'm like, oh my gosh. But I didn't treat my body well, you know? So now I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, I feel it properly. I actually am fit. And so all those things I feel like matter. But
It
yeah,
makes a huge difference. Yeah.
yeah,
You
I don't
think
know
you'll
what the competing world will be like in the next few years. Who knows? It's like John said, it's always a moving target. So who knows? Who knows? There's a big question mark out there, that's for sure.
do you think you'll ever go back to surfing?
Absolutely. So right now I've thought about entering competitions actually, but right now we are in Fort Lauderdale. There's no surf down here. I would have to drive like at least an hour up north to get some surf. So as soon as George has 3 more years here, my goal is to move up the coast. So once we can move up the coast, maybe I'll start entering like master surfing competitions and things like that. But that's a part of my life that I cannot get, just like bodybuilding has become a part of my life that I can't get rid of for good reason. Surfing has always been like my meditated state where like you're in the ocean by yourself, and you know, it carried over to bodybuilding because it taught me patience. Like you have to wait for the perfect wave. So I just love it. I don't think I could ever give that up.
Yeah. Well, I'm mind blown that you're so close because I will be in Fort Lauderdale for some vegan events later
Oh,
on in
nice.
this year. So I would love to get a training session in, train with a vegan pro.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Um, that's about all I got, Brooke. Do you have any further topics you want to hit on?
You know, not really. I just wanted to say you've been a huge inspiration to me, like huge, and you've helped me so much with my journey, bodybuilding, vegan, I mean everything. And I love that you're just like I said in the beginning, like a positive influence, and I love the way that you advocate for veganism, and I've just kind of embodied that for myself because
Thank you.
because I just think it's like you said, and I had a conversation literally this morning when I was training. I know a trainer at the gym, and she brought her client over to me and was like, hey, you know, she's vegan, can you help her with some vegan proteins, like can you give her some suggestions? And we just started talking about veganism, and she was like struggling with being vegan, and she was like, yeah, I really want to be vegan, but you know, I'm just struggling with going back to that, and like the criticism that I get, and I just don't want to be like one of those vegans who's like throwing blood on people and saying if you're not vegan you're a bad person, all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, but like that's not what veganism is. Like that's not, like I'm not that person either. And like you can easily still like advocate for your lifestyle in a way that isn't doing that. And so I know, anyways, a long story just to say, like, I love that about your page, and it's really inspired me and like my approach with my content and my activism. And my activism is being strong, being healthy, like showing people that you can accomplish really awesome things as a vegan. So yeah. And I also love how you conduct yourself in just such a professional way, and you're just very honest and authentic, which is so hard to find on Instagram now. And you're just always giving value, you know, like you have some awesome reels of you working out and like awesome recipes. It's always value focused, and it's always focused on helping people, which I think is huge.
Thank you so much for sharing. No, I'm super flattered. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah,
Thank you
well,
for having me on, by the way. I know you guys are super busy, so I really appreciate your time.
Right back at you, dude. I think we're all busy. We're all trying to do things that matter. Is there anything you want to cover before we close out? Any challenges you got coming up or events you're going to be at, or anything you want to plug?
No plans right now. I will be opening a new challenge later on in the year. So for those people that are on the wait list, it will happen. And then, yeah, you can follow me on YouTube and IG. It's Natalie Matthews on YouTube, and then Fit Vegan Chef on IG.
Perfect.
Love it. And the cookbook, her ebook is awesome for anybody listening. It is awesome. You will not regret it. Protein bagels, you name it. Protein tiramisu, it's all good stuff.
Thank you so much, guys.
Very Brooke approved. All right. Thank you, Natalie. This has been another episode of Vegans Who Lift podcast. Please, please, please head over to vegansexplore.com. Drop us some questions so we can answer them live on the next episode. Send this to all your friends, your family. I say send my stuff to Alex's Goats. You can send it over there as well. Make sure you turn on the likes, the subscriptions, all that stuff. And with that, thank you again, Natalie. Have the absolute best day ever. We'll be in touch.
Bye-bye.